Introduction to the syllabus of Class 11 Physics, MBOSE or CBSE. Now, MBOSE is same as CBSE. The only difference is that the question pattern being set by MBOSE is a bit different from the CBSE pattern. Slight difference there. Apart from that, all the topics, all the chapters, okay, all the units is the same as CBSE. To begin with, we'll first have to answer the question, what is physics? The word physics is derived from a Greek word fusis, which means nature. So physics is the branch of science dealing with the study of nature and the natural phenomena that we may observe around us. So we may observe that the sky is blue, the clouds are white, and if we throw anything upwards, it always comes down. Then we may see lightning and thunder during a storm. Now, all these observations, any observations, however exciting it may appear to be, always finds an explanation on the basis of a physical law. So, all that we observed in nature can be explained and understood in terms of a few physical laws. For example, Newton's law of gravitation can explain why an object always falls to the ground, and the laws of refraction can explain how a rainbow forms, and lightning can be understood as the transfer of electric charge. And one of the laws which you have studied in class 9 is Newton's law of motion. So all these laws, which explains the natural phenomena around us, will be studied in this session. Now, coming to the syllabus, the first unit that we'll be studying, that is Unit 1. The name of this unit is Physical World and Measurements. Now, physics is called an exact science because of the stress on the precision and accuracy in the measurements of physical quantities. So, in this unit 1, we'll be studying about physical quantities, okay, and how we'll measure these physical quantities, and what are the errors which may crept in while measuring these physical quantities. Now, the name of Unit 2 is Kinematics. Now, the word kinematics comes from a Greek word kinema, which means motion. So, in this Unit 2, we'll be studying about motion. Now, here we will not take into account the cause of motion. So, in this unit, we'll be studying about physical quantities such as displacement, acceleration, speed, or velocity, and all that is understood about these quantities will be expressed in terms of an equation. So here we'll be studying about the equations of motion. The name of unit 3 is laws of motion. Now you have come across the three laws of motion, which is Newton's laws of motion in class 9. So I advise you to do a revision of your class 9 physics. Unit 4, work, energy and power. In this unit, we'll study about the work done, which is required in displacing an object from one position to another, and what is the energy spent in doing this work, and how fast the work can be done in displacing this object from one position to another position. Unit 5, motion of system of particles and rigid body. Now, there are different types of motion. For example, take our Earth. We know that the Earth is revolving around the Sun, and not just revolving, it is also rotating about its own axis. You can also take an example of the analog watch. you can see that the second hand, the minute hand, and the hour hand of a clock will rotate about an axis. And if you take the wheel of the car, you can see that the wheel of a car is also rotating about a certain axis. So in this unit 5, we will be studying about a certain type of motion which is called rotational motion. Unit 6, gravitation. Now in this unit, we'll study why do objects always fall to the ground. Or in this unit, we'll be studying about the law or the Newton's law of gravitation. We'll also study about how we'll put a satellite to orbit around the Earth. Now, Unit 7, the name of the unit is Properties of Bulk Matter. Now, if you observe a drop of liquid, you will see that the drop of liquid is always spherical. It's always in the form of a sphere. So in this unit, you'll be studying about the cause which make this drop of liquid, okay, to be in the form of a sphere. And you'll also be studying about elasticity, the concept of pressure, the transfer of heat. All these topics will be covered in Unit 7. The name of Unit 8 is Thermodynamics. Now, thermodynamics is the branch of physics which studies the theory of heat, temperature, and the behavior of a system of a large number of particles. So, even Unit 9, which is behavior of perfect gas and kinetic theory, also falls under this branch, thermodynamics. The name of Unit 10 is Oscillations and Waves. Now, in Unit 5, we shall study about rotational motion, and in Unit 10, we'll study about a different type of motion, which is called oscillatory motion. Now, an example of oscillatory motion is a swing in a park. Now, that is an example of an oscillatory motion. Another example is that of a pendulum clock. So in this unit 10, we'll be studying about oscillatory motion. So we have a total of 10 units to be covered in the class 11. And in the next session, I will start with unit 1, which is physical wall and measurements.